Well, for the second time this week, there's been a transportation accident in Egypt, this time with deadly results. A train collision in Egypt has claimed at least 32 lives and injured dozens of others. The railway authority says someone pulled an emergency brake, causing the collision. Now, this happened on Friday, just south of Cairo. Ben Wedeman is in Cairo, where he's following the story. Ben, just bring us up to speed with what you know.
Well, this accident happened just before noon local time when, as you said, somebody on this train bound from Luxor in southern Egypt to Alexandria on the Mediterranean coast apparently pulled an emergency brake on this train, causing a train behind it to collide with it. And what we've seen as the pictures is clearly there's just horrific damage. As you said, at least 32 dead, the latest 91 injured, and this is in a country that has a long history of these absolutely awful train crashes due to the poor maintenance of the railway system. We have heard both President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli saying that those responsible will be punished. But what we've seen over the years is after similarly, if not worse, railway accidents, somehow they keep occurring year after year, and the situation is not getting better. Linda?
Yeah, it certainly isn't. We are going to stay on that story as we find more details out about that collision. But I also want to talk to you, Ben, about another story, if you can stand by for us. Now, the company that owns the Ever Given says that giant container ship that is wedged in the Suez Canal could be floating again by Saturday. The ship and its 20,000 containers have been blocking the canal since Tuesday when it ran aground. Now, hundreds of ships were trying to use the waterway. Many of them are now sitting nearby in a lake. Now, that clog in the canal is costing companies an estimated $400 million every single hour. Ben, certainly hard to get your head around those sort of figures, but it speaks to the significance of this canal, this very crucial trading route.
Yeah, this is a major artery between Europe, North America, and Asia. And what we've seen already, that some ships bound for the Mediterranean from North America are now diverting around the African continent because of this ongoing crisis. Now, as you mentioned, the owner of the Ever Given is saying that perhaps the ship will be floated on Saturday. The Egyptian authorities are busy dredging around the ship. They have a goal of moving 20,000 cubic meters of sand and mud, and they're going to deploy 2 large tugboats tomorrow to try to free this, blocking the Suez Canal. But at this point, you know, depending on who you speak to, some people say, yes, it's a possibility. Tides will go up. It'll make this operation easier. On the other hand, some people are saying that this ship is seriously stuck and that they're going to have to, for instance, perhaps empty some of the fuel on board the ship. And this, of course, is one of the largest container ships on Earth. Or perhaps they're going to have to bring in floating cranes to remove some of the thousands of containers on that ship. But certainly what this has done has really damaged the reputation of the Suez Canal, regardless of how or what has happened. We know that, for instance, as a result of global warming and the shrinking of the polar ice caps, increasingly there is talk of using that route to bring goods from Asia to Europe to avoid, for instance, the Suez Canal, keeping in mind, of course, that the Suez Canal is extremely important for Egypt economically and strategically.
Yeah, it certainly is. We will be watching this closely over the coming days and potentially weeks if it does indeed take that long. Ben Wedeman for us in Cairo, thanks so much. Well, coming up, the country with the world's second highest COVID-19 death toll reports another alarming record. And now there's concern that what's happening in Brazil could have a global impact. We'll explain that